Okay, today I'm going to have fun with Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K, and actually I would want to see if it's time to retire it or not. And what is the problem? The problem is that this whole rig weighs around 5 kilos to be kinda usable in this scenario. And I don't have my beach trolley, and I want to record something in the forest. And the problem is there is a road. I can drive that road, but I cannot park there. So I have to go all way to the place I want to record with this 5 kilo camera. And usually in Poland you have barriers like this, so you are not even allowed to enter the forest. This is the kind of public forest, like the owned by the state. And here it is allowed to drive because there is a village inside the forest, but you're not allowed to park here. The fine is like around 120 bucks. So I don't want to pay the fine. I can kind of park here. It depends. Might be the case that I'm fine, but I was never fined here. So that's the problematic part, because this is almost 5 kilos with all the necessary gear attached. So yeah, there will be pain in the back or in the hand. And what else I have here? So I also have my portable light, power bank to power it, set of filters. Some filters are doubled because it's easier to have two one-stop ND filters than two stops and swap it for one. And I now know that I forgot another spare frame for this. Okay, shit happens. I mean, I have two frames, but if I have spare one, I can swap spare one with the empty one, and that would be easier. I don't have to remove the filter, but it is what it is. You always forget something. And here I also have spare batteries, either for the Blackmagic camera or for the monitor, cable to power the light. I have the light stand, I have the camera stand, and spare hard drive for Pocket 6K. I doubt I need it, but and you can also see how big it is, because it is Peli 1560, the one that is allowed in the planes, and I cannot even fit it here standing up, so it has to be on its side to fit in. So this is just to prevent this from moving. So yeah, I will try to move all that stuff with me, and that might be quite painful and annoying. And actually I want to see if it's worth using this camera, because like ZV-E10 Mark II can do almost the same stuff, and it weighs, even with new Sigma 17 to 40 F1.8, it is like 1.5 kilos tops. And for the monitor I can use my iPad mini, which has built-in battery, and it weighs less than 400 grams. So this thing is kinda overkill, but let's see. Of course, these have a lot of pros, but do these pros outweigh the cons? I kinda doubt it. That's why I would probably retire this, get FX30, and that's it. But let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so I have my camera set up. This tripod screams for help, because this whole thing is like 4,800 grams. You have to use big battery, because the battery inside this camera lasts for like 15 minutes, maybe 20. So that's the con. There is no flippy screen. Another con. The pro is you have false colors built in, you have LUTs built in, and what else? You have focus peaking, and you can see that I'm using light stand as my focus meter, so I would probably stand there. Can I see the legs of this tripod? Not really. That means that this shot is wrong, so I have to move it, because okay, maybe I would use the cowboy shot now. So yeah, and what else? So there is no flippy screen, so you have to use external monitor. This external monitor needs power, so there are two batteries, and that external monitor is quite big. There is no autofocus, so I'm using follow focus. There are no internal NDs, but most cameras don't have them, so I'm using Mudbox with and okay, and now I know why I had the wrong shot. Damn it. So I'll probably have to frame it again. The problem is I'm not able to lower it, so I will kind of cheat. Will it stand? Maybe. Okay, that will be my cheat. So that are definitely the cons. What else? The EF mount is a con and a pro. Pro because all EF lenses are really cheap, and camera records direct to SSD drive, which is a plus, but it's only one destination of recording. I doubt you can record onto two cards at the same time, but maybe, I don't know. I don't have CF Express card to test it. The plus is you can edit straight from this drive, and also when you copy it, it copies like 500 megabytes per second, so it is really fast to copy footage of that drive. I usually copy it to have two copies, so yeah, and it's quite close to the road, and the sun is playing tricks, but I have, I think, 5 stops of ND now. Yes, 5 stops, so yeah, it should be fine. And there are bugs trying to eat me. Anyway, let's see how that footage looks. It doesn't look that great on the screen, but what if I put the LUT? With the LUT it looks much better. So and I forgot one thing. I'm almost, so probably I would have to move one step farther, or two steps farther. Yes, so I will move my, and I will probably use this camera as my focus marker or a stick. So yeah, I have to focus again on this, which is not that easy. I mean, on this. So let me try focus again, so I can make it bigger and try to focus on this. It's, can I, no, it's only 2x. I can actually turn on, but it kind of doesn't help that much, the focus peaking. Because it's so far away that the focus marker would be close to infinity anyway. Yeah, so that's the first con of this camera, that no autofocus. I mean, there is a one-time autofocus. So, And also compared to ZV-E10 Mark II, I would say 10 Mark II later, these have to be connected via cable, and this camera accept only the timecode as and is there separate timecode port? No, I don't think so. So that's another problem. So audio only goes through the analog cable for E10 Mark II or FX30. You can use digital hot shoe and you get that audio recorded directly, which is a plus. So here I have to turn on this, and also if I turn on E10 Mark II, then this turn on automatically, which is a big plus. Okay, so let me record something with this and I will try to change location. This one is not that amazing, although I wanted to have sky in the frame, and I don't know, that looks a bit dull. And I of course forgot my Sekonic, so I would just guess. It is all the. And also I would send false color to the main monitor. Okay, so in theory I'm in focus because I stand close to this stand, which I focused manually, and I can see false colors, like everything behind me is kind of dark. I should have my face pink, so I would set up the light in a second. So I will remove this, put a stick into the moss, and there are some highlights on the sky that I cannot recover. See if I can illuminate myself correctly. And also I'm wearing quite hardcore t-shirt to expose, because it's black t-shirt with white patterns, so it is quite hardcore to expose. So let's see. I will stop recording, turn on the light and see if this is any better. And normally, and if I'm using ZV-E10 Mark II, I'm able to put everything into this backpack, so I don't have to carry this 5 kilograms camera. So only if this produces better image, it makes sense. I don't have ZV-E10 Mark II with me today because I would like die carrying this around the forest, but I can compare it next Wednesday, for example, and then see if it is worth to have this camera. Some may say that it produces better image, but have better color science, but I kind of doubt it. And my stick, I have to move that stick here to stand here to be in focus. So let me set up the light and let's see if it's any better. Okay, so in theory I'm exposed correctly with the light, so my face is exposed correctly. Definitely impacts my face. It's running at 40%. This is, so I have this light set up here. It is Godox ML100Bi, and I guess this looks much better now. The problem is I'm not sure I'm in focus, probably because I set focus using the light stand. And the problem is when I change the framing, this lens is not parfocal, so I have to adjust the focus. And this is with the light. The light is like 2 meters from my face, and I think it looks okay. Although the problem is that this monitor is there. It is 7 inches, so not small at all, but it's hard to tell what's going on there. I can pinch to zoom, but I have to go there and see. I know that there is an app that allows you to connect via Bluetooth and actually have it on my phone, but you cannot monitor, and you cannot monitor the picture. So If I have longer cable, I could have a monitor in my hand, or if I have wireless setup, but this would add another half a kilo to the setup, or maybe 1 kilo, because I have to have transmitter and receiver, so it would be really annoying. So I think the setup with iPad is much better, and it took me like 5 minutes to set the shot up. So I set up the light on my right. I hope it's not in the frame. And then I have to use false colors to expose me correctly. With Sony camera, I have Monitor Plus application, and I have it on my iPad, or I can have it on my Android tablet, doesn't matter. So it don't have to be really expensive like Android tablet. You can buy one for $80 and this application would work. So you can connect wirelessly to the Sony camera and then check the exposure and actually change everything, start recording from that application. So I think in that terms it's better. The only reason to use this, if this produces better image, I'm using kind of the factory lot, so it's hard to say it looks good or bad. Blackmagic produces quite nice color. This is with 5 stops of ND. These are constant NDs, IR NDs, so it should be nice. And I'm running this light at 40%. So I kind of have to preserve the battery. I mean, on 40 I can run it for 2 hours, so it's not the end of the world. But also, if I'm not using this camera, if I'm using ZV-E10 Mark II or FX30, then the setup is 3.5 kilos lighter, so I can take small DC power station and it would weigh the same, and then I can power my cameras, power my light from this DC power station, and this power station would last with this light for 3 hours. So at full blast with this setting at 40%, it would last for 7 hours. So another con for this camera, because it is so damn heavy. So maybe it's time to say goodbye to Blackmagic. I kinda feel nostalgic with this camera because I recorded some nostalgic stuff with it. So mostly my kids, but also some other stuff. And I like the image this camera produced. The annoying part is that I have to use manual focus, but also if you use manual focus, then you focus on the thing or the person you want to focus on. So that's the pro and a con at the same time. So yeah, so that's the actually full body shot. I managed to have full body shot with this light, and I can see that behind me sun is peeking out of the clouds, but there are some lost highlights in the sky probably. But I mean, it's quite hard to have proper exposure outside. I have to remind myself how to expose correctly this, because I know how to expose S-Log 3 actually, but I forgot how to expose Blackmagic camera, so I have to remind myself, and I hope it's correctly exposed. So yeah, that's the first shot. I would try to record something different in the same settings to see it makes sense. And I'm recording it at f2.8 because it's kind of reasonable, although maybe I can stop it to or open it to f1.8 for a shot like this, but then I have to adjust everything, so I don't know if it's worth it. I would have to add another stop of ND, adjust this light, so I guess I would stay with f2.8 for this location, and then maybe in a different location try to use f1.8. But f1.8 is quite hardcore for anything except the full body shot on this camera, because then you have a really shallow depth of field with f1.8. Even though it is Super 35, then yeah, I guess it might be quite annoying to set up and to nail focus if you are in front of the camera. If I'm behind the camera, I can probably nail focus with the talent in front of the camera, but if I'm the talent, that might be quite annoying. Okay, so let me set up different shot here. Okay, so now it's kinda middle shot, waist up, and I have to again refocus because now I'm like 2.5 meters from the camera. I have the light on my right and I don't see the false colors, so maybe I should see them. That's another annoying thing. Monitor, is it here? Yeah. So I have a marker on, and actually my forehead seems to be properly exposed. I guess this is the light bounce from the clouds in front of me, or maybe and this part of my head might be actually overexposed, so that might be annoying. And this is, yeah, I think it looks better with the light, so it is at 30%. I'm a bit closer to the light than yeah, and I have the camera set up to 5600 Kelvin, and this light is also kinda at 56. So even though that maybe the ambient is a bit different, I should have proper skin colors. So that's the look with the light. And probably part of my hair is might be overexposed, but it is definitely exposed higher than my face, so that might be problematic. And also I should kind of expose my skin into this pink color with the false colors, but I can actually go a bit higher and it shouldn't be a problem. So let me go to 50. Oh, with the LUT it looks okay, so it's probably okay. I probably lost some highlights in the sky now because the sun seems to be out, so maybe it is overexposed, and this is how this looks without the light. So it probably doesn't look bad, but still I say it's kinda cumbersome to use it. And I'm kind of afraid that I forgot some setting into the camera, that something would go wrong, but I hope not. It takes some time to set this up, but if I'm rolling, then probably it is fine. So I'm back with 30%. This is without the light, and this is with the light at 30%. Still impacts the exposure, and maybe actually lower exposure looks better with this shot because it doesn't look that fake, although you don't see that the sun is behind me. So maybe it looks okay either way. And it's quite windy, so I'm not sure about the sound quality. Let's see, I will check this later. So yeah, I would pack up and move to the different location which is close by. These forests actually have few nice locations because even though it is a plantation forest, so there is kind of some diversity within the species of the trees. So maybe I would find something different, but this is the pine forest. There are some birches in front of me, but not behind me. There is this jałowiec, I don't know, juniper I think it's called. So yeah, so it looks like that. Takes time to nail the focus. There is built-in exposure tool, so exposure shouldn't be a problem, although if the sun changes like today, it might be a bit problematic to expose correctly, but it is the same case with every camera. And this one have some latitude in post because it records RAW, so I can actually lower the ISO in post, although if the highlights are lost, they are lost. so I cannot fix it, and the wind is ridiculous. I hope it won't rain, but I'm prepared for that because this camera is not weatherproof, so I have my jacket. So if it rains, I will cover the camera with the jacket. But the image looks nice even with this generic LUT. So yeah, maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's worth. Maybe image is so great that it's worth using it. But 5 kilos is kinda pain in the ass to lug it around, and I would probably have to have spare batteries for this. Although maybe I can find a cable so I can power this from the DC power station. So if that's the case, then probably it wouldn't be problematic, because power I can power the camera from the AC power station, but then there is loss of power because I lost power on inverter in the power station, and then I lose power using the brick to convert it back from AC to DC. So the best solution is to connect the camera directly to power station DC port, like either USB-C or something else like barrel or something else. I don't know, I don't remember if this camera accepts 12 volts. Probably it should. If it accepts 12 volts, the lighter port should work. So yeah, actually maybe powering this from the DC power station is a good idea, but then the DC power station is another 2 kilos, so it's kind of heavy setup. So I guess the FX6 setup would weigh less, and with FX6 I can still connect Monitor Plus and iPad to the FX6 and monitor it in my hand, or have the monitor here out of the frame to look at it. So still, I think these have more cons than pros. The only pro might be like fantastic quality of the image if you nail the focus right. I think the focus might be nailed okay here in this shot, but I'm not 100% sure. I think I see the details on my t-shirt. That means that this seems to be in focus, and at f2.8 with this crop I have probably like 30 centimeters depth of field, so I'm probably in focus too, but it's quite hard to say. Yeah, so I will move to different location. Maybe the other location would be more interesting. Maybe I should also try to expose with the sun to see if it's possible. Probably I would have to add more ND filters. Okay, so let's see if it's possible to expose with the sun. Different location, but the problem is the sun going behind and out of the clouds, so that might be problematic because the exposure would change by 3 stops all of the sudden, so it would be probably all over the place. Okay, so I'm going to move to different location then. And it seems that I have eaten 3% from the power bank, so not bad at all. Okay, now I'm in the middle of the meadow, and actually there is a jet flying by. You can maybe see it. So I'm in the middle of the meadow. The sun is above me. It's like 1 p.m. Probably I can check it. 1 p.m. exactly. So it's like the highest position of the sun. Anyway, I'm not using the light here because I have a sun. So I'm using the sun to expose myself. It is, I know my skin is overexposed, but I have 7 stops of ND. I don't know, maybe I should add another one. So maybe in a second I would add another stop of ND, like for the close-up. In my opinion, the biggest problem with this setup is that I have to spend a lot of time to expose this correctly and nail focus. Like with any camera with autofocus, I wouldn't spend time to focus it correctly, and I'm still not sure it is properly focused. It seems so, but it's hard to tell. I guess I would wear the glasses. So the pro is that it would never hunt because the focus is set and it would stay the same. Again, I use my light stand to nail the focus. So the biggest problem with this is that I'm in direct sun. So I'm really hot now, and you know, I'm usually really hot, but I'm hotter than usual, and the camera might get hot. Like this monitor is really hot to the touch. The plus of this camera that it has a fan, I think. I never seen this overheat. I don't know, I have to test the ZV-E10 Mark II in such conditions to see if it overheats. It never overheated yet, but maybe it would overheat in such conditions, I don't know. And I'm probably overexposed, like my skin is overexposed, but like it's not, like the details are not lost, so I can kinda tone it down in post. If I add another stop of ND, it might be too dark. I will check in a second. The plus of this camera is that it has tail lights, but actually the matte box covers the tail light at the moment. So this is how it looks with the, I have the generic LUT. I can kinda adjust in post with either dehancer or film convert. So plenty of possibilities, and I wanted to use sun as my key light. Now there are no clouds, actually there are some coming, so maybe I would add another stop of ND in a second. I have 7 stops now, so it is quite bright. It's quite bright, I have to say. I'm sitting on the tree trunk. Anytime something might bite me in the ass, but I'm doing it for science. So the con is that it takes a lot to set up the shot with this camera. The pro is that it probably won't overheat, I hope. Maybe the hard drive will overheat, like the DJI Mic Mini is really hot to the touch in this direct sun, so hard to say. Maybe something else will overheat. But yeah, and with this camera I have Sigma 18-35, so in terms of field of view, in terms of full frame, it is like 28, maybe 30 to 55, maybe 60, because that camera has a weird crop. I don't know what is the crop really. So it is like 1.6 maybe, something like that. So yeah, that's around it. And I'm not sure it is not skewed, because there is, it's not that great, this level marker is not that great in this camera, so that's another annoying part. So yeah, it looks kinda okay on the screen, and I think I haven't lost details in the sky, although like this impacts what I see. So yeah, maybe I would add another stop, change the crop, and yeah, the plus might be like the Pro over ZV-E10 actually, is that it won't overheat. Over FX30, FX3, FX6, it shouldn't be any better, because all of these cameras have some internal cooling, so shouldn't be a problem in such conditions, I hope. So yeah, I will change the crop, add another filter and see if it's any good. Okay, now I have 8 stops of ND, and I can still see that I'm kind of overexposed. I have false colors on the screen, so the other shot might be really overexposed. I can kind of bring it in post, although I'm recording with 400 ISO, so it is the kind of lowest ISO when all the highlights are preserved. If you go lower, it is the same case with S-Log3. You can go lower, but then you got this ISO frame. That means that the highlights are not preserved. So it's the same case. I will turn off the false colors to see how that looks. It seems that like everything is probably really dark. Maybe, I mean, the shadows, like the tree trunks, are really dark. So this is with 8 stops of ND, and still my face is kinda overexposed, and the sun is killing me. So yeah, so I guess that camera is not bad. Like it records raw, and it has mini XLR, so I can actually connect XLR mic to it, and then use the mini jack to fit timecode if I need. So that's a plus. The internal amp of this camera is okay. In terms of the sound, there is some self noise, but it's probably not that bad. So what else you want? Like, you have all the exposure tools in the camera, maybe except the EL zones, and I have actually EL zones with any Sony camera with Monitor Plus application. So EL zones, I think, are much better than false colors. Although with false colors, you actually see already if the shadows are crushed and if the highlights are lost. So you look at the false colors and you see that right away. With the EL zones, not really. But then with Monitor Plus, you can switch to false colors, and then you can see that highlights are crushed or shadows are crushed. So, and there is something trying to eat me. Anyway, it's hard to tell how it's exposed. Also, I'm in a direct sun, so it's hard to see the monitor, but I think it's okay based on the false colors. Still, my face is a bit overexposed, but probably I can bring it down in post. I can bring down the highlights in, and it might be okay. So it's not that bad actually, although this 5 kilos is killing my hand. The pro is that I'm wearing new shoes and they are actually killing my feet. So the pain in my feet is bigger than pain in my hand when I carry around this camera. So I guess it's not that bad. Yeah, so that's the shot in direct sun. The camera doesn't seem to overheat. I wonder if the SSD will take it easily, or maybe it will fry up. But usually SSDs can stand like 50 degrees Celsius, so it shouldn't be a problem. And I don't know, probably even my t-shirt looks okay. This does not seem to be overexposed, like these white patterns, and the blacks are not really crushed. So there is some dynamic range within that camera. We all know it's like 11 and a half stops, so why you want more? Maybe you do, I don't know. Anyway, I will move to another location, probably the final location. There are few nice locations here within that forest, but they are quite far away, so I probably won't get there because I have to return to my car with this 5 kilo monster. And I will check the footage on my Mac and see if it's any good. Mostly if I'm in focus. That's I think the biggest con of this camera, that you have to set the focus manually. You have to use something. You can use the part of the scene, or you can use the light stand like I'm using at the moment, but then you have to bring something to be able to set this up, which is annoying. Anyway, we'll jump to another location. This other location looks really nice around 4 p.m. I'm not sure it would look nice now, but we'll see. And I will try to use that camera there to still see if it's any good. And I have another memories related to the camera, because I recorded like 100 hours of basketball games I played with my friends, and it's kind of sentimental, especially that one of our friends died. So I've been actually able to create this remembrance video, I would call it like that maybe, with all the footage I have from this camera. So that's another sentimental connection with this camera, a part of being able to record my kids when they were younger. I've been also able to record the basketball games I played. I recorded for like 3 years, I think, and then we stopped for some reason. I don't remember really why we stopped. Probably I haven't got time to edit the videos, so actually stopped recording. But yeah, so there are some sentimental memories related to the camera, so maybe that's the reason why it's quite hard to sell it. I don't know. Anyway, I moved to different location, try to use the light there and see how that looks. Okay, I'm in a different location, so camera is there. I'm shooting in 18 millimeters, so like full body shot with a like establishing shot, something like that. And at least there are different species of trees here. And I'm recording at f1.8, and I'm not sure anymore if before I was recording at f2.8 or not. I've seen f2.8 on the screen of the camera, but when I turn it on now, it was 1.7, which means it is at 1.8. It reports that way, and here I have a light. So let's see how that looks. We stop recording on this camera, and how that looks. I'm kinda shadowy. I've seen on the false colors I can pinch to zoom the on camera monitor to 3 times, which is quite nice. And if I turn on the light, I can see even on this faraway screen that it looks okayish. So I'm running that light at 10% because I have only 3 ND stops here. I'm in the shadow. There is some glimpse of light. The sun is moving that way. So there shouldn't be more light. At the moment I'm kinda, my hair might be overexposed because there is a direct ray of light from the sun hitting my head. Probably. It looks like it. And again, I focused manually using the light stand, so I might be in focus, I might not be in focus, it's hard to say. And what I said that the ZV-10 has advantage, or FX30 has advantage, because when I turn on camera the mic turns on automatically. It's the same case here, because you can set up the Mic Mini to turn on when the jack, when there is a power in the jack port, so it kind of detects that camera is on and turns on. Also, what is nice that this big battery, NPF battery, this NPF 970, it is still like at 70% after all these shots I've done. So I recorded for like probably half an hour or maybe 40 minutes, I don't know. Maybe I have to check how long I have on the drive, but in this quality I should have like, I don't know, additional 2 hours or something. I think initially it was 3 hours, around 3 hours, but maybe I'm wrong. I will check in a second. I have the spare drive, so I can swap it. So yeah, that's the shot with the light, and with this camera I see this glimpse of light here, so I'm not sure it's like a believable look, because the light comes from the behind, but I'm bright from the front. Maybe you can believe it. It might look okay. I don't know. It's hard to tell on this small screen. So yeah, that's another look with this camera. This shot was quite fast to set up, like 5 minutes maybe. So it wasn't that different than ZV-E10 Mark II, but again, I had to set up the focus, and I'm not able to move from this position. So for recording yourself, it's not like the best solution, I guess. Although I still won't be moving. I have a light because this light is like shining on me. If I move here, I'm out of the cone of this light, so apart that I'm out of focus. So it's not a big deal probably, but yeah, I guess it kind of limits the creativity if you recording yourself. If you're recording someone else, it's probably not a problem. It's even maybe better because there are no focus hands and stuff like that. But if the person is moving, then you have to be good with follow focus. So not sure it's a good idea. So that's the wide shot here. It's at 18 millimeters, so something like 28, maybe 30 on full frame, and I guess it looks nice. So now I try to do a tighter shot. Not sure it would be possible. I will try to do it at f1.8 to see if it's possible to nail the focus or not. And yeah, and I guess that would be it, because from the previous location to this location it was like 1 kilometer, maybe 1.5 kilometers, something like that, probably closer to 1 kilometer, and I have to swap my hand 5 times carrying this camera. So it's not a joke. 5 kilos is not a joke. Maybe I should like move around with 4 kilo kettlebell all the time, and then I have a power to move such a rig. But at the moment it is not that great. I'd say in terms of weight, the pro is that these batteries keep power for quite a long time. So I guess I would have to check how much space I have on this hard drive and set up the close-up shot and try to focus. This is without the light now, so I'm probably in the shadow. I checked with the false colors, and with 10% it seems that I was exposed correctly, and without the light I'm kinda in the shadow. But I guess I can, maybe if I use magic mask I can like recover myself. But the light is to have everything good in the camera. Anyway, I will try to set up the close-up now, or portrait at least. Okay, I should be in focus. I can see that kinda this part of my face might be overexposed. It probably is. I have the false colors on. I'm not 100% sure I'm in focus. Like, this is quite dark, so on the verge of losing the... I try to set up the light so I can actually maybe turn it on. And the problem is, if I go with additional stop, then this would be crashed. And this is crashed. It's too close. At 1% it is overexposed, so I can kind of move it farther away. And the problem is I cannot switch these false colors from here. Like, there is, I have the remote. I can kind of connect to this camera. Let's see what I can do. It says I'm connected, so maybe I would be able to do something. Am I able to do something? Not really. What is this? Frame guides, false color. I can turn it off and on, but seems only on the camera screen. Yes, seems like I'm not able to operate the external output. Maybe somehow it's still at 18 millimeters. I can see that the tint is not the best, but okay, it's what is funny that actually I can turn on false colors on both, so it's not that bad. So I can actually kind of operate it. Okay, this is definitely too bright, although it seems that like the highlights are not lost, but it looks really fake. It is at 1%, so I have to move that light further back, and you can see that I have this ugly green tint on my face, which probably I can get rid of using that light. Okay, I have false colors now. I'm probably in focus. I can see that this part of my face is kinda overexposed. But what happens if I turn on that light? Something would happen, but it probably disconnected from USB. Yeah, because I was pulling that cable too hard. That's what she said. So maybe I can see that some of these ugly shadows disappeared from my t-shirt, which is kinda nice. So this is in theory proper exposure on my face. I can kinda swap. I can kinda change everything on this app. So okay, maybe. And so okay, let me try the focus. Okay, can change focus. Can I? Yes, I can. Although it does not move. Oh, it moved actually. So okay, so it depends how much I push. Now I overshoot. Now maybe I'm in focus. It's hard to tell. I know I'm looking up and it doesn't look that good, but I can actually steer that camera from that app. I was not aware that there are so many functions, and this app is called Bluetooth Plus. I think it's BMC Blackmagic something Bluetooth Plus. So yeah, I can actually start recording, stop recording, and rack focus. So it's not that bad, I think. So okay, so let me then try different shot. And now I'm out of focus. It's at 35 millimeters, and actually I was going for a shot like this, and I looked at the light. So am I able to? Okay, so it is. I should. No. Actually, it seems I'm able to set up the focus with the app. So that might be actually. Am I in focus? Can I somehow turn on focus assist? Yes, I can in theory. I can see. I'm out of focus. Even more out of focus. Okay, now I think I'm in focus because I can see that pattern on my t-shirt is in focus. I'm kinda in focus, so actually that speeds up the setup time if I can steer it from the app. So okay, that's actually a really nice find. but for some reason now I'm underexposed. The light is at 11%. Maybe, yeah, I don't know what happened. Well, maybe because I don't know. I don't know. I have to check what are the settings of the iris 1.7. So now I can see the exposure is better and it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. There is some green tint, but I think it looks, I'd say, almost fantastic. I have to look into the lens, and my battery in my monitor is dying. I can swap the batteries in a second, it's not a problem. But actually with that application, maybe it's worth keeping. The only con now is the weight, which is 5 kilos, because I still have to have this on camera monitor. So I guess with that application it's not that bad. You can actually change everything in the camera, so you can turn on and turn off the false colors, you can rack focus, you can start and stop recording, although is the application disconnected. It's connected via Bluetooth only, so that might be kind of annoying. I can change everything, like, yeah, I know that there is no focus, so actually with that application it's not that bad. I kinda use that camera for wide shot when I try to shoot a podcast. Like, that was just a test podcast, so nothing serious. But now at 1.7 or 1.8, it seems like I'm in focus. So the only problem is that the light might be too high, but other than that, it doesn't look bad. I'd say it's even looks nice. I look kind of pale, but I'm pale, so probably I can adjust this in post. So yeah, I'm kind of sad that I checked this application, because now I kind of don't want to sell it, but I have to think about it, because if I sell that camera, I have also two lenses, this Sigma 18-35, which I can sell for probably like $400, $300, 400, I think. It's almost like a premium condition. And I have Laowa 12 millimeters, so $800 probably. So that way I can buy FX30 and maybe add some like $500 and buy Sigma 18-50 f2.8. So yeah, it's actually hard decision to make. So I can check without the false colors how that looks. So I can also operate my light remotely via Bluetooth. It doesn't look bad, but now I have to come back with this camera for like 2.5 kilometers probably. So that will be pain in the ass. I have to think about it. I have to review the footage on the big screen if it's in focus. It seems it's in focus on that small monitor. Like, my eye seems to be sharp, but you never know until you see this on a bigger screen. That's the bummer. But maybe it's actually not a bad idea to use this camera, and the only con seems to be the weight, and that's it. If I can pull focus using that application, I mean, there is another solution. I can buy DJI Focus Pro, it is around used. I can get it for $700, maybe $800, and then it would be another thing mounted into the camera, but this would be instead of the follow focus, so maybe it would be still under 5 kilos. I don't know, but there would be another battery to charge, another thing to set up because you have to calibrate this. So I'm not 100% sure this makes any sense, but I kind of wanted to test Focus Pro. It was hard to buy in Poland. Lately I've seen one used, but it's I think already sold. It was quite cheap, but it was like adding money to old car kind of story. So I don't know if that makes sense, but maybe I don't know. I have to review this footage and see if it looks nice. I guess it does. Other than that, and now I can see that I probably am overexposed because sun moved and it was behind the trunk of the big tree, but now it is out, so I can move back into the shadow. But now I'm probably out of focus. The problem with that application is that it's disconnected again, so I have to reconnect to the camera to be able to do anything. And I moved back, so I should I touched focus. Maybe I can check this with focus assist. Maybe I'm focused, maybe I'm not. I can see the focus assist points in my eye, but it's really hard to tell. So I have to move back, and I don't see anything. Is the light still shining on me? Yes, to a degree. So the light, by the way, is at 21%. And am I in focus? Now I'm supposed to be in focus with that settings, I mean with that distance. Yeah, so anyway, I think it's not as bad as I thought it would be, because I discovered this application, so I can actually steer almost every aspect of the camera from the application. So yeah, that's a bummer. That's like the really hard choice to make. Or maybe I'll just save some money, and I don't know. I know this camera doesn't seem to be bad at all, but the only con seems to be it's heavy, because as you can see, I'm recording for more than an hour probably, and the battery dropped by like 50% maybe. And I can actually hot swap this battery because there is another battery in the camera, so I can hot swap this NPF battery. So yeah, I'd say it's a fantastic camera then. But I have to review the footage on a big screen and see if it is as good as it seems on this small screen. But I don't know. Anyway, it was ISO 400, f1.8 in theory, 3 stops of ND for this shot. The light is at 21%, and you can see that the sun is going out from behind the tree, so I have to move back, but then here I have a branch which casts shadow on my face. But anyway, I think this camera is still worth having in 2025, although I'm not sure I would keep it. I have to rethink this. Before I tried this camera today, I thought I would sell it, but now again I kind of think it's still a nice camera. So hard to say. Anyway, that's it, and cheers mate.